Aussie wages are up 2.1%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we've got some good news. Wages are up 2.1%. Let's have a look, guys, from the ABS. So, average full-time earnings up 2.1% over 2021. The average weekly ordinary time earnings for full-time adults was $1,748 in November 2021, up 2.1%, $37 over the year, according to new seasonally adjusted figures released today by the ABS. Bjorn Jarvis, head of labor statistics at the ABS, said, following relatively large fluctuations in average earnings during the pandemic, the 2.1% change in average earnings over 2021 was more consistent with underlying wage growth from the wage price index released yesterday at 2.3%. The latest data is for mid-November, which was after the labour market had recovered from most of the Delta period impacts and before the emergence of the Omicron variant. The 6-monthly increase of 0.6% between May and November 2021 followed a larger increase of 1.5% before that, highlighting the extent of compositional changes in employment and hours through the second half of 2021. Throughout 2021, full-time jobs were still progressively returning or reverting back to full-time hours in some lower-paying industries like accommodation and food services. There was also some upward pressure on average full-time earnings from higher-paying industries over the last 6 months, including in construction, information, media and telecommunications, and financial and insurance services, Mr. Jarvis said. Workers in the mining industry remained the highest paid on average at $2,656 per week for full-time workers, followed by those in information, media and telecommunications at $2,178, and financial and insurance services at $2,116. The lowest paid workers on average were in accommodation and food services at $1,219 and retail trade at $1,314. And here we have the average weekly earnings. You've got males in blue, females in orange, and you can see here mining is at the top, then info, professional scientific, construction down here in the middle, and accommodation and food services at the bottom. Over the 6 months, average weekly ordinary time earnings for women working full-time rose by 1% to $1,591, which was higher than for men, up 0.5 at $1,846. The gap in the headline measure of average weekly earnings for women and men narrowed from 14.2% in May to 13.8% in November. The only time it was lower than this was in November 2020, Mr. Jarvis said. The gap in average full-time earnings was highest in the professional, scientific and technical services industries and lowest in the group of industries that make up other services. The latest gender earnings data follows last month's release of hourly earnings data, which showed men earned more than women in all occupation groups, with the gap ranging between 10 and 19%. Yes, men earned more, probably because they worked more. But anyway, average weekly ordinary time earnings for full-time workers continue to be the highest in Australia, ACT. There you go, 1900, WA 1896, and remain lowest in Tasmania and South Australia. The ABS would like to thank businesses in Australia for their continued support in responding to their surveys. So let's have a look at some of the data here, and I think what we all need to have a look at is where is it? Average weekly earnings adjusted. Here we go. Public versus private sector. Okay. So, in the public sector, full-time average adult earnings $1,907. In the private sector, $1,706. For men, weekly totals? Okay, they don't break it up in sex. There you go. But look at that difference, everyone. Nearly $200 a week difference for the public sector compared to the private sector. And I wonder how many of these people were impacted at all by the lockdowns and restrictions. See, here we see the difference in here's private males and public males. So there we go. Blokes are going down. Is that it? Oh, these colours are very, very close to everything. Mining is at the top, guys. There's such a big difference in income in different sectors. You know, you've got to get into mining. I spoke to someone the other day who did a whole lot of work out on the mining. Yeah, sure, it pays top dollar, but it's not easy work. It's hard work. It's remote. And that can have a psychological burden on people too, working that remote. Here's states and territories. WA is right up there, and the ACT with all the civil servants. So you've got the state with huge mining, exploration, and natural resources, and then our bureaucrats, because apparently bureaucrats need to be earned. So cash earnings, there you go, just going up. And there we have it, guys. So wages have gone up 2.6%. What do you reckon? Let's have a talk about this one. This is good news, but you've got to understand, if inflation is at, 3.5%? Let me just check with the RBA, CPI. Yep, 3.5%. You're still behind. You're still behind. And there's still firms, and we'll look at that video next, where they're offshoring their work to mitigate the impact on their wages. What do you reckon? Have you managed to get a wage rise? How many of you did it by changing jobs? I think that's the secret. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I create here, there's a few ways you can help out. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. And you can buy a merch from HeiseSays. Check out this video about accounting firms that are offshoring work overseas because they don't want to pay those big wages. It's going to happen, everyone. We're now having to compete. And remember, at the checkout, everyone is a globalist. Everyone is.